right away, this is not a PowerStop tutorial or breakdown. It's really just the journey of my progression, the stages I went through when I was learning PowerStop. So when I first started learning how to skate, there was no such thing as YouTube, and the internet was pretty useless as far as tutorials. So I was on my own as far as sorting out my stopping techniques when it came to inline skating. What I did get with my inline skate was a heel break, and I used that for like a year. I was actually quite proud of my little carvy stop on one foot, but maybe I'll just demonstrate that someday instead of bragging. But that stop wasn't good enough, and the heel break, the appendage on the back of my skate, just wasn't going to cut it, because I was really starting to enjoy going down like little steps, stairs, over curbs is something I enjoyed quite early, and that appendage was eventually going to trip me up and make life miserable for me. So I had to learn how to stop without it. So my very first stop on inline skates was the old Spinaroo. I actually did hit my knuckles multiple times on poles and signposts doing this. It took up a lot of room, but it did stop me from kind of a slow pace. Very quickly after starting into my spinny stop phase, I could scrape the pavement with my wheels a bit and stop a little more quickly. So by using that outside skate properly, I was able to turn my Spinaroo into a swoop. And the swoop phase eventually shifted into a T-stop. It could have shifted into a PowerStop, but my thinking on the whole thing was a little young. There was even a time that I thought I was doing a hockey stop or a PowerStop, but wasn't. I videotaped myself a bunch of years ago, and it revealed that only a percentage of my stops were the PowerStops. I thought they were. Most of them were T-stops. Padding played a huge role in learning the PowerStop. I wasn't healing all the time, I was actually learning all the time. I wore a helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, hip pads. Here's the actual knee pads I wore in those days. So the hip pads I'm using now are PowerSlide hip pads, which I got from Pro Skater's Place. Tailbone protection is very full, well placed, and I like the hip bone placement too. I'm actually wearing them under my brown dad jeans in some of these shots. I think the very first PowerStop I saw that was really beautifully executed was like the late 90s, maybe year 2000. I was down at Roller Jam's training camp, don't ask. And I saw this guy do a beautiful PowerStop with a nice little slide on some smooth surface that we were skating on. So when I saw that, I not only wanted to recreate it, but I wanted to bring it to the city and have it be useful in real situations that I skated daily. So after reviewing myself on video the first time, I paid way more attention to my back underfoot and getting that angle to match my front angle. Not quite the same angle, but close. So in my pursuit to understand PowerStop better, I needed to understand the sliding part better, how to manage the friction below me. And I went to a roller rink one time with a friend, and we just hit the parallel slides over and over and over again until sliding was easy, but stopping was the goal. Playing with that angle of the back foot, getting it a little steeper when you want to stop decisively. So yes, that's when I went from sliding to stopping, and that's when I owned the PowerStop. Ever since that understanding that I got of that back foot, I've been able to use this on the street and change with the conditions. So once I ironed out my mechanics, it was time to work on the accuracy. And I've been continuing to work on the accuracy, and I'm not entirely satisfied with where I am right now. I have days occasionally where everything is just right, and I'm very proud of like half of my stops. But that's very rare. I guess that's why the whole PowerStop thing is such a fun game, because if I don't stay on top of it, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to have like a regression phase. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do a video about that. If you want an incredible PowerStop tutorial, there's a bunch of them on this channel and one at the end of this video. Enjoy. You don't have to take as long as I took to learn the PowerStop. You've got the benefit of all these tutorials out there. So I'd say find as many sources as you can about the PowerStop and drill it to kill it. Something like 30 minutes every day until you have this thing nailed. You could probably cut out like a phase or two, maybe even a year or 5 from your development phase. And once you learn the PowerStop, you are going to be so happy to have it. It's my biggest safety mechanism, and it's also my most impressive trick.